Martin Luther said, next to the Word of God, the noble art of music is the greatest treasure in the world. Welcome to the Creative Mother Discussion Show. I am your host, Mervin, and we are creatives transforming lives. The Creative Mother Discussion Show. I am your host, Mervin, and I will be with you for the next hour. We are super thankful that you have chosen to join us this evening, and I want to encourage you to share this link to invite your friends. Tonight's going to be a very exciting episode. We're going to have some great discussion talking about music, talking about creativity, and how we can develop a sustainable music career. Tonight, we want to know where you're tuned in from. So we'll use the comment section where if you're tuned in on YouTube, if you're tuned in on Facebook, use the comment section to let us know where in the world you're tuned in from. I see my good friend Barrington Morris from Jamaica in New York. Tune in. It's always a pleasure to have you with us. And again, we want to hear from you guys. Let's use the post your flags, send some love, send some comments in so that we can hear from you. If you're tuned in on TNC on the national channel here in Belize, we also want you guys to be a part of the discussion. So kindly use the WhatsApp number 501-623-7898, and you can join the conversation, send your comments in, and we will get that to our team and get that on the screen. Tonight's episode is brought to you by Task Belize, a strategic marketing and growing innovation firm that helps you tell your story, reach more people, and close more sales.
Are you ready to move your business forward? Are you ready to make an impact? Are you ready to go beyond what is? Hungry for more traffic, engagement, customers? Here is your chance to become more successful in the digital world. With fresh, creative, innovative strategies for your organization's messaging, website, videos, graphics, photos, and sound. Skyrocket your brand's digital identity. We do what works. We do things differently. We learn from you to understand your business needs. Tell your story, reach more people, and close more sales. Contact us now to take your business to the next level. Task Belize, the heart of entrepreneurial innovation.
All right, welcome back. Thank you guys for tuning in. As promised, on tonight's episode, I will be joined by the multi-award winning worship leader, producer, and recording artist, Sherwin Gardner. Sherwin Gardner he's been I'm one of his fans, I must say. I got introduced to Sherwin Gardner when I was 19, and I've been following his journey. Actually, his musical journey has been very instrumental in shaping and carving some of my musical pursuits and the choices that I even make in my musical journey. So it's an honor for me to have Sherwin join us tonight. And so I want to welcome Sherwin to the screen. Good evening, Sherwin. How are you doing?
I'm good. Good to be on the inside with you. How are you doing?
I am doing fine. I want to say welcome to the Creative Monday Show. It's such a pleasure and honor to have you with us tonight.
Definitely to be here.
Yeah, man, I'm excited. Your album just dropped yesterday, Pointed Up. I was waiting for that project. I think I told you there. I heard a little bit of glimpse of it from the promos you were putting. I think The Blessing was one of the songs, and I was like, whoa. That just captivated me. So tell us a little bit about the project. What was the inspiration behind this project? What can people expect, and what should they expect from this project from you?
Well, this firstly, let me say it's good to be here with you for this audience in Belize. It's been a while since I've been there as well.
Yeah.
But this is a very, very unique project. It actually started as the Right Now experience. And that would have been in the ending of 2017, going into 2018, when I was traveling on the Greater Tour, the Greater Album, which is the album before.
Mm-hmm.
What happened was I was writing through that journey, and I did a live recording in New York on January 1st. And after that recording, we started to work on it, tune it up and add everything that we needed for the project. And we was at 12 songs, but I was in transition, moving back to the US. And I really didn't want to go back to the US. I wanted to stay
Yeah.
in the islands. I wanted to stay in the islands for the reason why I just wanted to be able to be someone who could help develop other young artists, other artists.
Yeah.
And I'm very big on helping people career and skyrocket their career. So I moved to the Bahamas, which would have made it easy to travel because it's right next to the US. It's very quick. And I'm the worship leader at Bahamas Harvest Church. So that kind of put the album on hold. So for 2019, I took some time for myself personally, just move, and I was just doing shows, but not necessarily doing the music yet. So when I decided to put the album back in place in 2021, the pandemic started
Yeah.
in March, and I started to do some lives on Facebook that really was just being powerful, and a lot of people been joining. And then God started to give me songs, like real songs, a lot of songs, and they were songs that were not the typical praise and worship, but it wasn't the totally hardcore Caribbean. And I'm a gospel head. I love Byron Cage. I love Fred Hammond. So I found ways to merge our Caribbean flavor with the praise and worship. And I ended up stripping most of that previous project and putting on new songs. And I got a song one day called Point It Up. And I said, wow, because
Yeah.
everybody, when the pandemic hit, everybody was just looking down. People were sad.
Yeah.
And God was just telling me, hey, direct that praises up to heaven. You know what I mean? When the praises go up, the blessings come down. So even
Yeah.
though things look rough or seem rough, you gotta keep your head up and direct your praises to heaven. And that's where the project came from. And it's exceptional.
Yeah.
Love it, exceptional. It dropped yesterday. It's trending number 3 and number 1 in the Bahamas, and
Nice.
more and more news coming up.
Nice.
It was shown live on our biggest television station in Trinidad, one of the national stations, and all these artists were just texting me, and everybody was so excited because the quality of the work, the arrangements, the production is just on a different level. But most of all, the message that is in the music, I think, is what a lot of people are blessed by. So I'm really happy and excited about that.
Yeah, what I love, I mean, I was actually driving up from a wedding yesterday when the album dropped, so I was listening to it on the way up. And what I love about the project, I feel like it captures, in my opinion, the Sherwin Gardner past, present, and where things are going, right? Like as I said, I got introduced to your music when I was 19. So like leaning, clean up your heart. Like that was kind of my introduction to your music. And what I loved, as I listened to the project, I'm like, oh man, this reminds me of that, and this reminds me of this. But then yet it was well crafted and put together. So nothing felt so much out of place. And I've heard projects before where it's a worship project, but then they kind of incorporate some of the Caribbean, but it didn't mesh well together. I believe you successfully mesh the worship, the Caribbean feel, the vibes, everything together. What's some of your process when you're producing a song and when you're producing your music? What's that process like for you in pulling it all together?
Well, most of the times it starts right here. I'm actually in my studio right now. So most of the times, for me, I don't write on paper. God gave me songs, and it stays with me. So a lot of the times I'm driving, different things happen, circumstances happen. I'm sitting in church, listening to the preaching, and then an idea something come to me. So when that come to me, I wouldn't go and record it one time or write it one time. I'd definitely wait a little bit. If I hear that song again tomorrow, then I hit the studio and I start working on it. So I always demo everything here. And then, I just pray about who I think would really fit the song. I think what a lot of people do now is try to do everything themselves. I'm not an
Yeah.
American, so I'm not. And Caribbean people, we're not Americans. We could replicate a lot of stuff from America, but it's not authentic. Just
Yeah.
like how a lot of people try to replicate reggae, but even though it's really good, it somehow it just doesn't
It
sound
doesn't
as,
feel and some,
as
yeah.
Jamaica. Yeah, you
Yeah.
understand? When you come from Jamaica,
Yeah.
you know, hey, yeah, boy, this yard, you know what I mean? So with that understanding, I'm from Trinidad. We know soca. Soca is what we grew up on. I start now giving different people different things. So I work with Todd Delaney's team, his MD, and some of the tracks that is more praise and worship. And then when I wanted a Caribbean feel, I sent it to Fisherman in Trinidad. So we had a merge of different producers on one song.
Wow.
You understand? So now I've created a callaloo of a mixture of ideas all together with what I want, and that is what I think gives the edge in terms of making this album really stand out in terms of sound and where it is right now. So that would be the main process behind it. It's a lot of producers, and then
Yeah.
myself, I do mix, I master everything, and then sometimes if I feel like this is not for me to mix, I send it out to a different person. So it's not where it's just one studio or one thing. We just changed that whole thing.
I love that because a lot of folks are trying to do it all, and I remember I actually when I was in the US and I was with some friends in Arkansas, and I was talking with a producer up there, and I told him he was getting into production. I've been doing some music, and I told him, a doctor can't do surgery on himself, and he's great at what he did. Well, he was trying to do it all, and I said, a doctor cannot do surgery on himself. You got to find others that you can trust to work with and to come on the project with you. And so I love when you share that because, especially for an upcoming artist, the importance of finding that team and finding those you can collaborate with and work with to produce quality, right? It's so key. Definitely so key. So Sherwin, what I want to ask, you've been in the music industry for a while. As I mentioned, I got introduced when I was 19 and you were already in it. And we're not saying how old you are, in that sense, but what I wanted to know, how have you maintained, walk us through what it took for you to maintain relevance over the years and energy and passion over the years for what you're doing.
Well, I'm 42, so I'm not afraid to say my age. I've been singing since I was 5 years old, so they can do the maths. It's a long time. I started recording at the age of 12. But I was always, when I started off with contemporary gospel, like praise and worship kind of stuff, to God be the glory and stuff like that. When I started to do reggae, it wasn't something where I really, really wanted to do reggae. I was never a fan of reggae at that time. I was going to school, and then it was the era of song clash where guys would be clashing each other. And then because I could sing, they would say, Gardner, give me a hook or sing. So I would sing on the reggae beats. And then I realized that, whoa, this boy everybody was like, this boy have something with this, you know what I mean? And I'd go home and start writing. And I started to get reggae songs. But being obedient to God, I continued. And that's how it became something huge. But for me, as a artist, staying relevant has nothing to do with me. It's not about me. Once you understand that as a Christian artist, first thing you have to do is strip yourself from the equation, because you're not doing it for yourself, you're doing it for God. See, a lot of times people who do this in the church tend to study the fame more than the real reason behind what we're doing it. And because I'm one who is always trying to be obedient to what God is saying to me, I'm not a seasonal artist where some people write because soca is in season, they write a soca. Because reggae is trending, they write a trending. I am not, that is not me. I write wherever God says, whether it be worship, dancehall or reggae at that particular time is what he's saying. And that is what makes the difference. That's what keeps me relevant, because I'm getting it directly from the source. And to get it from the source, it boils back down to something that is important, which is called relationship. And many people are missing it because they don't have a relationship with God, so they will never be relevant, because you are writing songs to hype the crowd, and then it never lasts. It will play on
Yeah.
radio 2 times, and then you wonder why. But these are big song. How come nobody in playing it anymore? No, it's just a fun song that you wrote to get a response. I'm not trying to get a response. The only response I want is for people to be blessed or leave transformed. That's a whole different thing. So once people start understanding that context and relying on God more than themselves, everything just fall into place.
Yeah. That's very good. I really appreciate that, and I know folks need to hear that. Those who want to go, what I'm hearing in that, because even for those who might not be faith-based or Christian, what I'm hearing in that is purpose. So, what's your purpose behind why you're doing what you're doing, and being very clear on your purpose, being clear on your why, and definitely having a clear vision, so that whether you're getting the response from the crowd or not, you know why you're doing this, you know why you're getting up every day to press forward, right? But Sherwin, the reality is, and from as I told you, I got introduced to you, and your music, your name, your brand has gone global, it has gone international. Talk to us a little bit about that branding, because there is a brand element, and well, I'll wait on this other point I wanted to share, but there is a brand element when it comes to doing music, being in your industry. There is a song you've developed. I know songs. I remember even when it wasn't you on the song singing, when I heard the song, I know Sherwin had some touch in this song.
Right.
And so there is a brand and a song that you develop. Walk us through that process and the importance, I believe, of developing your unique brand and your unique stamp on what you're doing.
Yeah, I think for me it would be a little bit different in the sense that I guess because I'm doing it for so long. I think where you are, where we born or raised, we always exposed to different things. So like being from Trinidad, I'm exposed to hip hop, R&B, soca, gospel, a lot of music, and this is not just Trinidad, but the Caribbean in general. We are exposed to a lot of things. And everybody, it depends on your personality. You like certain things more than other things. I love big band music, meaning I love progressions and movement and changes and stuff like that. So you'd find that everything that I do, whether I'm producing it for me or someone else, it will have a signature of a big band song. I'm always, even with studio products, I always think of the stage, because I've been on stage from 5 years old. So I understand how a crowd reacts or responds to different things. So I try to bring that element into the music. And then I'm a graphic artist. I do web design, I do production. So I think ahead. I always see ahead. When you do graphics, you are somebody who, and let me just say generally, as creatives, you always see the finish before you start. Because if you don't see the finish, right, you will just be walking blindly. So if I know exactly what I want, like let's just say in this case, this album cover was called Pointed Up, right? I did the photo shoot for that since 2020, because I wanted to do the album back then, and then I knew that, and I need one finger in the air. Everything was aligned with what I want to do to keep the branding of the message. So it's not just about writing on paper or putting it on a CD. Everything that accompanies that is important to touch lives or win souls. There's a word that people tend to be scared of as Christians, and that word is entertainment. But Jesus was one of the most entertaining persons we ever know in the world. Like every time Jesus did something, he did it like a parable, or he did it with some kind of Lazarus. Like everybody watching him, like, yo, this man crazy. Like, why is this man dead, boy? Like, why you calling him? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Spit on the ground, or ye without sin cast the first stone. Every have some kind of like, yo, that's deep. You understand what I mean? Because if we were to put some of these things into real life now situations, we would be like, this guy is a crazy man, until the outcome, and then you realize, yo, this man have some type of power. It's interesting. everything that we do need to be interesting enough to grab people's attention for them to hear the message. Not everybody's going to like reggae music. Some people don't like reggae. They like worship. So they're not going to listen to reggae. So it's not for them. But there are the people who, once it's packaged well, once they hear it and the quality is good, your voice is good and song is solid, for some reason, people are going to say, whoa, this song nice, boy. You know what I mean? Because it's packaged well. And that is the entertaining aspect of it. But the anointing is what breaks the yoke and makes the difference. So if you're entertaining and you're not anointed, nobody's going to listen to you. They're going to listen and say, yo, that's fun. It's nice. But they're not going to remember you. But once you have that relationship with Christ, let God do the rest.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to listen to something, or I'm not going to go into a store and buy a shirt or buy a sneaker or something if it's not attractive to me. It must be something that I like to buy. And that's generally with everybody in life. So we will tend to go towards things or lean towards things that is on a particular sound or level or package a particular way before we accept it. And that is something people need to understand with what we do as ministers of the gospel. You know, let me give you a good example. There are some people can't listen to Joel Osteen preach.
Yeah.
But they can listen to TD Jakes.
Yeah.
Now, the two of them talking about Christ.
Yeah.
It's
the
just
packaging
different ways.
Yeah.
And there are some people who can't listen to TD Jakes, but they love listening to Joel Osteen because they don't want to hear the screaming.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear that screaming. And then some people is like, yo, Joel, I need some screaming.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Those little differences are just because it's packaged a different way, but it doesn't make Joel any less or TD Jakes any less. It's just that certain things are going to reach certain people, and we all call to different things.
Yeah. What I love about that is that, you know, it's important for you, and for those who are watching, it's important for you to definitely take time to know what's unique about you, take time to discover who you are. And that comes, as Sherwin rightfully say, you know, God will reveal that to you, but take time to discover, spend time with yourself, spend time getting to know who you are, because that uniqueness about you is what the world needs as well. That packaging, you're the packaging in that sense. And you need to sharpen your package. And, you know, Sherwin, I want to go jump a little bit into some of the disciplines that you've had to put into play in your life to sustain and maintain what you've been doing for so many years. And I know that discipline goes into it. One story I recall, I remember hearing this from someone, that was secondhand information, but you were somewhere and they were bringing food for you, and apparently they brought a soda, a Coke or something like that. And your response was, no, I can't put that in I can't drink that. I don't drink that. And I remember that everyone made a big deal about, Ben, Sherwin refused to take this thing. And for me, from back then, like, as I told you, I was watching and listening, right? I'm like, okay, that discipline, there's things you do, there's your daily routines, there's things you do with your voice, there's things you do with your health, there's things you do with your food that has kept you young, because I was telling my wife, Sherwin managed to stay young all these years. I already have gray hair, right? But talk to us a little bit.
That's why I have a ball right now.
Talk to us about that.
What are you talking about? So I wish I could get back to some of those routines. But when I was younger, that would have been when I was 15 straight up to about 21, I drink no sodas.
Yeah.
And I think that was one of the things that really helped develop my voice the most. I wish I could get back to that because I drink soda now. But in terms of discipline, it's no longer just about just only the routines, but it's more of the routines of studying the word, because I think now we're reaching we're in a point where people are more educated than years ago. So you have to now know your word. You have to now know everything about the craft that you're doing. So discipline starts with figuring out, as an artist, how to structure your songs properly. Discipline starts from maintaining the quality and being consistent. All right. Too many of us, we drop the ball by having beautiful words, but lacking production. So everybody, you just waste a whole song that you'll have to probably do over just because you didn't take the time to really put it down the right way. And that is what the a lot of people are lacking right now. That general things that we need to do. I can't say that I am someone who trying to be a pastor and preaching and never open the Bible, never study or try to put the sermon together.
Yeah.
Everything you have to develop yourself. Hence, one of the reasons why I got so good in terms of graphics, video, all the different things that I do, was because I understand that I'm running a label.
Yeah.
I am helping other artists and I'm doing other things. I need to know about this. I need to know about the music business. I need to understand what the music business is about. Those are the disciplines that a lot of times we lack. We just want to sing. You know what I mean? We just want to be artists. We just want to do everything being an artist, not understanding that being an artist means that you should try to learn an instrument. You should try to understand what mixing and mastering is. You should try to understand what is the process you have to go through to put out your song. Because just because there's internet now doesn't mean that once you put it up on the internet, people are going to find it. You have to figure out how now to get people to hear the music.
Man, that's really good. And for those watching, I hope you guys are taking notes. I mean, if you have questions, again, those who are tuned in, if you have questions specifically for Sherwin, feel free to use the comment section to send it in. And Sherwin, I love how you went and talked about the business side and the industry side. Let's talk a little bit about that, because there's a lot of artists. I mean, I was in Dangriga over the weekend at a wedding, and I stepped in. They were having this party and they were, battling and going back and forth. And I stepped into the scene and I dropped a couple bars and everyone was like, oh, what happened? But what I saw there was they all have the passion, they have the talent, but they don't understand the industry. They don't understand like what you're talking about, how to get the music and get what they're doing out properly, right? So talk to us a little bit, if you can, and share what are some of those ingredients in terms of the industry that any artist needs to make sure that they understand.
Well, boy, you see, that would have to be a whole different interview. But the easiest way I could answer that now is that I wish that what is available to us now was available years ago. There's so much resources. Everything has now become cheaper than it was. For you to find top class producers years ago, where you would have spent millions of dollars, now there's services sites that gives you the same quality stuff and same quality people if you understand the business. So my thing with most people is that there are courses for production, there are courses for engineering, there are courses for music business and music theory. There's everything that is necessary. I have had a friend recently who did an engineering course for $50 US.
Wow.
And I put him to the test after he finished, and he still had a few things to learn, but the amount of knowledge he got in that one course, I was very impressed. So now more than ever, artists have the ability to really develop themselves and to find the tools and stuff that is necessary. You have things like TuneCore, you have things like Fox Fuse, man, the list goes on and on in the amount of outlets and avenues that you can use to share your music, to learn more about the business. Being an independent artist now is even beneficial, because now you have TikTok and you have Instagram and you have all these things that if you really push it the hard way, you can actually share and do pretty good.
That's good. So what like, because we're talking, one of the things we mentioned we wanted to tackle tonight is how to build a sustainable and successful music career. I know success has to do with your vision. Success has to do with your goal and what you're going after. So another man's success might not be your success, but sustainable have a lot to do with finance and resource. And I find a lot of artists, they don't have those things in play. What walk us through what you had to do over the years to be sustainable and also be successful in your music career.
Well, firstly, I would say to any artist that the music now, see, now is very different. So it's not just about the music. You have to be able to do different things. I have
Mhm.
my studio. I do production, not just for me, for other people. So that's another source of income, right? Graphics, different things. So you have to not just have one thing, because now you're looking at COVID being here and we can't talk, we
Yeah,
can't travel.
yeah,
There's a lot of artists who now are in a lot of deep debt and trouble because COVID came and shut down everything, and you had a life that you were living, and you have to
yeah.
now change those standards and those lives. So I would tell anybody who's doing this, you have to have multiple sources of income. You have to be able to do other things. You have to be able to find ways. I am the worship leader at Bahamas Harvest Church, so I have a job as well
Yeah.
outside of my ministry. You understand
Wow.
what I mean? So
Yeah.
people have to be smart and be able to do or find avenues to sustain what you're doing. You know what I mean? Don't just rely on singing. Just you now come and you now start and you want to charge people $3,000 because you have one big song. It don't work like that. No, that one big song is not gonna last because there's 3,400 artists sometime in one country and all good.
Mhm. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So always be able to have other things that could help sustain you.
I love that. With that, we're going to take a quick commercial break. And when we come back, we're going to continue the discussion with Sherwin. Again, guys, if you have questions, you have comments, you want to send in, let us know. We want to hear from you. So let's take a quick commercial break and we'll be right back.
Are you ready to move your business forward? Are you ready to make an impact? Are you ready to go beyond what is? Hungry for more traffic, engagement, customers? Here is your chance to become more successful in the digital world. With fresh, creative, innovative strategies for your organization's messaging, website, videos, graphics, photos, and sound. Skyrocket your brand's digital identity. We do what works. We do things differently. We learn from you to understand your business needs. Tell your story, reach more people, and close more sales. Contact us now to take your business to the next level. TAS Believes, the heart of entrepreneurial innovation.
Welcome back to Creative Monday Discussion. I'm your host, Mervin, and we are talking with Sherwin Gardner. This awesome discussion. For those who just tuned in, we want to remind you, if you have questions, you have comments, you want to be a part of the discussion, send those in through the comment section. Sherwin, I want to kind of jump right back on what the last thing you were talking about, because it's so true. Multiple streams of income, especially in this time, especially in your career and your pursuits. I cannot stress that enough, and how important that is. Even for me, I've always wanted to do music. I was 9 when I kind of started to make that decision. I said, hey, music is one of the paths I want to take in life. And I realized, especially in Belize, there wasn't even a music industry per se in Belize at the time. And so one of the things I did first was I developed my business. I have a full TAS Belize, actually it's my company, a marketing production company, and that's what sustains us. That's what keeps things going. But we have other streams of income. We have other things that we're doing, and I did that because I did not want that. Like you said, if God would tell me, "Hey, go do this with music, go here," like we've been to Barbados on multiple times. We took mission outreach there, music mission outreach there, and we were able to go and do that. And I wasn't worrying whether or not when I come back I can be sustained or not, because we had the company that was bringing revenues, right? And so I can't stress how important it is. Get your education, get those other tools in place, get those multiple streams of income going, because music definitely can generate revenues, but it's not the end of it all. There's other things that you can do. During COVID, one of the things that helped me, I play guitar, and so I started to teach people guitar remotely using Zoom, and that was one of the things that helped get me through COVID. And so again, there's tons of resources, there's tons of things you can do. If you're a singer, you can teach singing, and that's another income. You can coach music artists, that's another income, right? So there's multiple ways to do this. what I wanted to ask you, you talked earlier about, in early years when you started there, reggae, and you wasn't sure, you didn't really want to do that, but you did it. You pioneered gospel reggae, soca, all these different genres, and kind of pulled them together. I'm sure there were people, there were voices, there was influences that like, what are you doing, and will that work? How did you go about? Walk us through how you went about kind of over. And I know God, it was a call of the Lord, so we know that. But what were some of the things that you had to tell yourself? What are some of the things you had to put into play that would help you overcome maybe fear, or maybe as a pioneer, this is something new? Because a lot of people right now are afraid to step out of the comfort space, and they don't want to do the new things because they want to stay safe, right? So walk us through what it was like for you to pioneer these new avenues.
Well, man, it's so many things with regards to that. I mean, when I started, it was very, very early. When you grow up with, let me give the little backstory. My mother is a pastor, and my grandfather was the bishop of the New Testament churches, and so growing up in church and growing up with parents who are giving you that foundation, that is what is the answer to the question. So when I started reggae and doing reggae at that time, Trinidad and Tobago didn't have reggae, wasn't a thing in the church. It was just contemporary. You doing reggae is of the devil. That's how people used to say it was, is of the devil. I understood that we had a message because I was writing these songs. My mother, thank God, caught on the message and said, yeah, I'm supporting you. My family said to support it. You know what I mean? So we went to churches, like big up Gyre Productions. That's one of the guys who was with us in Trinidad from a long time. He grew up with us as well. We started, and when we went to certain churches, they were like, no, you can't sing this here. So then we found ways. We didn't stop. We found ways whereby we. So a lot of these songs were stories, and we'd have people act out the stories. That now gave us a good foothold, because people now were starting to visually see the message. So the older folks didn't understand it because we were hardcore. We wasn't doing no little singy thing. We was hardcore because we was replicating what we were hearing at that time, which was Sizzla Kalonji, Anthony B, and all these different people. You know what I mean? So it was hardcore, and it wasn't. The young people would understand, but the older folks. So when the older folks started to realize, well, this have a message, then started to kind of ease into it, right? So coming up 96, 97, 98, let me do a shout out one time. Today we lost a veteran in the gospel industry, Jamie Thomas, who was part of the history of gospel reggae music. Right. So when I was doing it in school in 97, 98, we were just super hardcore. Jamie came to my school to do something with ISCF and heard us. And then he took me from school into something he had called Vibes. And when we went to the Vibe, Jamie and I started to roll. It was starting to become big. We went to Tobago, on other island, and somebody recorded it. And he put it on radio. And from then, it moved from just being little small events to super huge events.
Wow.
1999, Papa San got saved. So it was no longer just about Sherwin Gardner doing reggae, or the ones in the Caribbean who grew up in church. Now people had other people who they were faces they could identify with from the secular world. So that gave us an extra push. Right. But for me personally, it never affected me in any way, because I knew that what I was doing was for God. So what people saying didn't really matter. You understand what I mean? The issue is with a lot of people is that they like how it is now. They do it for likes. They're doing it to be liked.
Yeah.
When you're doing things in the kingdom, persecution will come by. We're doing this for likes. I'm not doing this for likes. We're doing this to send a message, to bless people. If he was doing it for likes, many of us give up long days. But
So
you know
true.
what I
So
mean?
true.
So
Yeah.
it's not about the likes. It's really about understanding your purpose in Christ and fulfilling that purpose through the music. So we never give up. And now, 2001, met Mark Moore Christopher. They love what we was doing, got signed, and then I end up Kenya, Africa, all over the world,
I remember that. Yeah.
America, Australia, Brazil, Costa Rica, from doing the same thing. You understand what I mean? Just
Yeah.
blessing people all over the world. Went to Germany, all over, as a little boy from Trinidad who never came from the secular arena, who never had no background in secular music, was just fully all church, Christian, gospel all my life. You know what I
Man,
mean?
I love it.
So definitely I would say to anybody, yeah, we're going to face some persecution, but if you know that what you're doing is what God wants you to do, you don't have to study anybody.
It's good.
Because you be humble, you listen, and you continue to do what you're doing. Watch God.
Yeah.
Watch God. You know what I mean?
I love it. And and guys, for those watching, here's one word we can take all of what Sherwin Gardner just said and sum up: consistency. Most people aren't overnight wonders. A lot of us feel like, oh, they just pop, they just got big. If you followed what he was saying from he was young, they were doing it consistently every year. Whether it got hard, whether it got easy, he remained consistent, and consistency is the key. And then everyone has that time when God will definitely blow it up, right? Sherwin, we have a question that came in that we want to read. I think this is from Dale Kevan. He says, "Bless up Mr. Gardner, congratulations on the new album. So Belize is loving the album. Is it possible to see the album launch from yesterday or get the video?" So that's what they're asking.
Yeah, we're gonna be showing it back pretty soon. So I guess what he'll have to do is stick to social media.
Yeah.
A lot of people have been asking.
Yeah.
So then there are some TV stations like Tempo, different stations are going to be airing it again as well too. So just look out and stick to social media to hear when we're going to re-air it.
And then maybe we could talk and find out how maybe we can get one of the stations here in Belize to air it as well.
Yeah, no problem. That would be great.
Awesome. Sherwin, if you had to speak to your younger self, what are your top 3 things you wish you knew back then that you knew now?
That's a very, very good question. 3 things. Three things. I would definitely want to learn, would have liked to do more musically in terms of when I was in school, and also learning a foreign language. Like I would definitely tell myself, like, dude, you should have done Spanish. Like I had the opportunity in school. I had a choice between electrical technology and Spanish, and I chose electrical technology. If I was at this age, I would have definitely gone with Spanish, because now I have to fight up to sing Spanish. But if I'd done it in school, it would have been a
natural
ball game. You know what I mean? It would have been easier. So yeah, and what would be the last one? But the last one, man, it's not much. I think that even with the mistakes, even with the things that happened in my life, I'm still pretty much grateful that I'm still here and still able to do music, and that people are able to receive it the way they do, especially with this new album.
Yeah, I love it. So what's next? What's next for you? I know you have the project, but is there any other things? I think I saw somewhere that you were getting ready to release 3 different projects at the same time or something like that. I don't know if I saw that correctly.
Yeah, so it's not at the same time. So this project here is Pointed Up. That's my personal album. And then I am going to work on another album called Worshippers in the Room, where I'm bringing together Caribbean worship leaders in one room, and we're going to just do a whole praise and worship CD together. And it's going to just be a crazy experience. So I'm doing 3 of those. One in the Bahamas, one in Trinidad, and one in Jamaica. So that is the plan right now, and that is what we're working on.
Very, very good. Very good. Well, I know you said earlier and part of what the vision of our show and what we're doing is inspire, motivate, and transform lives. You spoke about that heart to wanna pour into young people and help them skyrocket their career. If someone wanted to kind of connect with you and get into what you're doing or get you to work with them, what would that process look like for them?
They just have to reach out. If you go to sherwingardner.com and you want to get production, anything that you need, just reach out, send an email, and then you just take the steps from there. I mean, I've been working with people from all across the world for a very, very long time. I've just done some work for a group in Tobago that did doing some exceptional songs as well. So, and then a lot of international acts as well. I had the opportunity to work on a reggae track with Todd Delaney that is going to be phenomenal when it drops.
Nice.
So, yeah, it's just a lot of stuff. And I just thank God for what he's doing right now.
Nice. So a question came in from Stephanie Patnett. When will we get another see you in Belize? I guess another Belize, a Sherwin Gardner Belize show. When are we going to see that?
Well, we started working on it already. So hopefully, just again, stick to the social media very, very soon. With COVID, we have to try to figure out all the guidelines. We have to figure out how to make it work. But once we can make it work, you're going to see me in 2021. We're trying to make it happen in 2021.
Very nice, very nice. Sherwin, just my final question for you. Walk us through a typical day. What does a typical day with Sherwin Gardner looks like?
Boy, wow. A typical day, well, now is to wake up, pray, get ready, go to church. So I work in the church office, prepare everything for Sundays, and then after that I start working on my stuff. Back in the studio, relax, tour out. Now I'm gonna start the gym, and then to bed, unless it's a night where is something where I have to work or do. When I say work, mean studio is like 1 to 2, 3 a.m. and stuff like that. That's a whole different. That's the next type of day.
A really long day. Yeah. A question actually came in. This is a WhatsApp question here. They want to know what have you learned about leadership through doing ministry for all these years, and what are some of what would you say are the top leadership principles that governs your life?
Leaders create leaders. That's the main thing. All right. Once you are intimidated by the people who are around you and you're not able to develop them into other leaders, then you're not being a good leader. People must be able to look up to you and want to strive to be better at what you do, at what they do. So that is some of the key takeaways for me. Being able to is like this book that we read in it. It says that when you searching for gold, you must go through the dirt.
Yeah.
To get to the goal, you understand? So there's always a process in everything, and on teaching people or allowing them to understand the process to get to the goal is just as important as receiving the goal in your hand.
Yeah.
And this is some of the things that happen here in the islands or Caribbean people. Sometimes we like the goal, we want to receive the goal, but we don't want to go through the process.
Yeah.
And good leaders always show people how to get from point A to point B. It's going to have some dirt in between, but when you hold that goal in your hand, you'll understand the importance of that process and you'll work harder the next time.
Man, I love that. You're speaking my language. And actually, I did a teaching at our church a couple of weeks back about mining the treasure within, and that was the exact idea that I was talking about. Like if you got to go for the goal, and there's dirt, you got to push through the dirt, right? And one of the things that sometimes we start to focus on the dirt, and we forget there's a treasure to kind of be extracted. And this is the same even with your business. It's the same with your career. It's the same with everything. Every pursuit has an element of the dirt you need to deal with. But if you keep focusing on the dirt, sometimes you're going to miss that treasure that's there for you to grab a hold of. I love that. I really love that.
Yeah, man, definitely.
Man, any closing thoughts as we're wrapping up?
I just want to say thanks for having me. I want to send love to the whole Caribbean gospel, all the artists out there. A lot of people have been hurting with the loss of Jamie Thomas today. So shout out to everybody. We're going to be doing something big for him pretty soon. Also for the people in Belize, go grab the album. Trust me, this is going to be a blessing. We're looking forward to coming there this year, and follow me, Sherwin Gardner Music. I see it scrolling on the bottom on Instagram, and just stay up to date with what is going on. A lot of big things is going to be happening this year. Shout out to Michael Evans as well over there. I'm working with him closely, as well as with you, to do something big in 2021. So we're going to make it happen.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being a part of tonight's segment. And for those who tuned in, thank you guys so much for making this show your show, for keeping the Creative Monday discussion show your show. For those tuning on TNC, thank you guys. For those who send in your comment, we're gonna call it an evening for today. We're gonna thank you guys so much for everything. Want to thank the crew at TNC as well. These guys have just definitely partnered with us to make this show nationwide in Belize. We're going to say good night, and we were going to see you next week. Next week, we're going to have a special segment with mothers. Mother's Day is coming up. So if you have not gotten your gift as yet for your mothers, if you don't have a plan in play as yet for mothers, it's not too late. I just saw my friend Lorcia Moore. She just made a comment. If you guys need some Belizean products, reach out to Lorcia Moore. If you need some nice products for your moms, there's several companies. I have a friend Andrea who has some great products as well. Reach out to the local business and entrepreneurs that have products and they're doing things in this time. And let's show some love to our moms. Let's show some love to those. Monday, we have a special segment with mothers and daughters. You don't want to miss that segment. Thank you guys for tuning into the Creative Monday Discussion Show. I will see you next week. God bless. Take care.